Good morning, Crossbridge family. It is Wednesday and time for your SOAP update. You are now at Matthew chapter 13, and I just want to congratulate you for dedicating almost 2 weeks to the story of Jesus and living with him. And what does it mean to look, live, and learn about Jesus? And so you have hit a section of chapters now where there's lots of things called parables, these stories that Jesus tells that have a point to them. And this is one of his primary ways of teaching so that everyone can begin to understand. And he tells a story in the middle of chapter 13 about a farmer who is going to grow some wheat. And he begins to cast all these seeds to grow wheat. And in the midst of doing it, there's an enemy who comes at night and he sows these seeds. He casts out these seeds of weeds. And the intention is to ruin the field. And what I love is the servants go in to the master and they say to the master, "Oh my gosh, everything's grown up. We didn't even know that these weeds were here. We'll begin to pull them out." We'll begin to pull them out. And this makes common sense to you and I, doesn't it? Like, you got to get rid of the weeds. You got to get rid of the weeds. And the truth is that the master actually turns and he says to the servants in verse 29, "No," he replied, "you'll uproot the wheat if you do that. Let both grow together until the harvest, and then I'll tell the harvester to sort out the weeds, tie them into bundles, and burn them, and put in the wheat in the barn." You see, the farmer has the end in mind, not what's happening in the exact moment of, oh, panic, we need to fix the problem. The problem can be fixed later. And what I love about this passage is that Jesus is bringing up this idea that's surrounding us all the time, whether it's in church, at school, in your families. There are bad seeds, right? There are people they look like maybe you and I do as disciples of Jesus. But as they grow up, the fruit that they bear, the plant that they are, begins to show themselves. And you think, boy, that doesn't look anything like the words of Jesus that I've been reading. And so often the quick and the easy thing to do is to say, well, we got to get rid of all that. We've got to lay down the hammer. We've got to do these things. And God says, no, listen, some of this is going to get figured out in the end. Some of this is going to get figured out in the end. And what's really important about this story is actually the teachers of the law, the Pharisees, they have been following Jesus everywhere he goes. And Jesus kind of calls them out sometime on some things, but he doesn't always address them. Not until later in this story, in this biography, do we read him really addressing the Pharisees. Because the truth is, in the end, the harvester's going to say, time is up, and he cuts the wheat, and he puts the wheat is going to be on the right, and he's going to put the weeds on the left, and you're going to read about sheep and goats that happens with this later. But God has the end in mind. Crossbridge family, are you the type of person that as you grow, you look like wheat or weeds? Do you look and resemble what Jesus is bringing to the table and the life that he brings? Or are you choking out those around you because of attitudes and heart checks that seem to be out of place? I hope and pray you and I will be the wheat, that we will be the life bringers, exactly what Jesus has planted, so that people would find hope in Jesus through us. Crossbridge, I love you. I can't wait to see you this Sunday. God bless.